Hello everyone and welcome to this Video Sans Frontier video. My name is Jay Wakefield and today what we have here is what I hope will be the first successful conversion of one of my laptops from a mechanical storage device to a solid state storage device. Now the laptop in question, the one that we're going to be converting today, is the Toshiba Libretto 50CT, which actually looks like it's in need of a wee bit of a clean. For those of you who haven't seen the video, this machine is, well, it's the smallest x86, well actually I'm not too sure, because I do have the Atari portfolio. What I'm going to say is this: it's the smallest it's the smallest Windows compatible machine in my collection. Windows x86 compatible. I mean, yeah, I'll go with that actually. Windows x86 compatible. And it has a 75 MHz Intel Pentium processor, 16 megs of RAM, very tiny yet active matrix display color, and it has an 850 megabyte hard disk drive, the same capacity drive that originally was in my 2001 custom built. Now, I don't know if this has any charge. I'm going to say no. But this machine has been working perfectly fine, apart from a wee blip I had with the internal storage. But it's because of that blip that I have actually decided to convert to solid state. You see, the actual hard disk in this machine, it's kind of acting like a hard disk that is not long for this world. You know, it slowed itself right down. Sometimes there's clicking sounds, you know, when you're seeking and what have you. And I think the time has come to actually, you know, make it not as. I think the time has actually come to make it solid state. That, plus I can get some more hard disk space going. So, how do I plan to make this into a solid state machine? I mean, it's not like I can go out to the shop and, I mean, even if I could afford to, which I honestly can't, it's not like I could go out to the shop and buy myself a Samsung 840 Pro solid state drive and just kind of thwack it in here and install Windows and expect it all to work. I mean, for one thing, this machine does not have any storage, removable storage in it. Toshiba did originally ship this machine with a floppy drive, but when I bought it, I did not get it. So I mean, that's out. Also, there's no USB, so booting from USB is out. Not that this machine would have been able to do it. Also, like I said, well, the reason I couldn't use a Samsung SSD, for those of you who don't know, is that newer machines use SATA for their controls, their hard disk controllers, and, for their hard disk and optical drive storage. It's a very quick interface, and a very tidy one too, whereas older systems use parallel storage, IDE storage to be exact, or parallel ATA. You know, if you want to kind of go, well, that's a newer term for it. So, yes, you can buy parallel RTA SSDs, but 16 gigs is completely inappropriate for this machine. There is another way to go solid state. What we have here, just put the lid down, is this is a solid state adapter. This is what this actually is you can see it's got IDE pins at one end. I'm really hoping it actually has the keyed pins. I just kind of hope that that's the case, because LML3's had problems with their non-keyed adapters, and I regret to say this, but it doesn't look like this one is keyed. Never mind if that is the case, and I need it to be keyed. Could always convert something else. Could be quite fun. Now this is what you do is you plug this end into the hard disk controller on the computer, and then you plug a memory card from a digital camera into this end. And what we have is a 2 GB compact flash card. Now, what enables you to use these in place of traditional hard disks is that compact flash cards have the same pinout as IDE on them, and they've basically got their own controller. So what we have here is the Transcend 133 times compact flash card. This is perfectly fine for machines of this age, but for things that are a bit too new, for example, LML3 tried converting a compact Evo 800 MHz Pentium 3 using a 266 times 32 gig CF card, and it slowed itself down. But for machine, please excuse me there. For machines of this age, CF card can actually speed things up a wee bit. So that's the installation of the hard disk out of the way. Now, what we also have is another CF card. You might be wondering what this is for. You might also be wondering why it's a higher capacity and why I'm not using this in that laptop. Well, firstly, this is a slower CF card. I'm not sure what speed it is, but when I've tried using this card as a solid state device, it really did slow things down. So, I'm basically using this as a storage device. How do you ask? Here is a PCMCIA to CF card adapter. Basically, it's a card reader. Now, what makes this so special is that it is Windows 95 compatible. So, I've got installer files for things like drivers and CD-ROMs support and stuff like that on here. Hang on, no, let's scratch it. I have applications on this CF card. You know, like Office for Windows 95, Microsoft Plus, that sort of thing. And what I'm able to do is I'm able to kind of insert this card into the CF card adapter, plug it into the laptop, and then I can install Office. That without having to kind of get a CD-ROM drive and mount it up to it. And because I have a card reader in my computer, it's very easy to just kind of tweak it out and copy stuff to it. So that's that sorted. So, first off, we're going to need to prepare this CF card for use. Now, like I said earlier, there is no removable storage on this machine, which means I've got to figure out another way of being able to install Windows 95 on here. Like I said, I have a PCMCIA card CD-ROM drive, but this machine does not support booting from it. What I can do, however, is either connect it up to a donor machine. I could install this CF card in this adapter and connect it up to a donor machine. Thereby, what I could do is use that machine's CD-ROM drive to actually make the CF card bootable and copy the Windows 95 install files to it. I could do that, but I think it would actually be easier using my PC and a copy of VMware Workstation. So let's do that. Actually, I've decided what I'm going to do is use a 1 gig CF card. I've had this lying around from when I had it used in my Packard Bell Legend Multimedia. Now, the reason I've decided to go with a 1 gig CF card instead of the 2 gig one that I've just bought is because, and here's another type of, well, actually, we'll talk about that in a wee minute. The reason I've decided to go with the 1 gig CF card instead of the 2 gig one is because, well, to be honest, I really only keep that Toshiba Libretto around just, you know, to kind of have it. You know, it's a tiny machine and I think it's brilliant as part of the collection. However, due to my being visually impaired, using that screen for a long amount of time can actually cause me quite considerable discomfort. So, as a result, you know, I feel that putting a 2 gig card in there would be a complete waste. Whereas a 1 gig card, I think this would be perfect for it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to unwrap this. So if you give me a minute, I'll do that. Don't you just love the new smell of the new computer electronic kind of smell? That is amazing. Now, the reason I'm still kind of having to unplug this is because VMware, unpack this. VMware actually does support using physical hard disks as, well, in their virtual machines, which is what we want. However, it does not support using removable storage devices in their virtual machines. So to have this register as a hard disk, I've got to plug this into here and then plug this into one of these, which is a USB to IDE adapter. And then, while it'll still be a removable storage device, it will register as a hard disk, as opposed to being a CF card, which means I can use it with VMware. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get the CF card out. And then it's literally just a case of sliding it in. Well, there we go. We just basically slide it in here. Now, about this adapter. I got a handful of these for my birthday last year from the PowerMac Galaxy. Thank you very much, by the way. The reason I'm not using one of these, and I'm using one of these, is because the Toshiba Libretto, you actually have to slide the hard disk in. That's kind of how it works, you know, you slide it in. Unfortunately, these are very small, so you basically kind of just drop it in, you know? And I did try using one of these, and, well, it didn't necessarily work out too great. So, I'm using one of these. Like I said, I'm not sure whether it'll work, because it isn't keyed. And you don't like it when things aren't keyed. So that is it connected. Right, good. And I'm just going to quickly off-camera look in my computer. Might be there, might not be. Yes, it is. It's Packard Bell. There we go. Now, that's absolutely fine. So what we need to do now is to actually go into, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open a blank page on Firefox, so you know what I'm browsing on will not be compromised. There we go. So we're going to open VMware, and what we're going to do, we're going to create a new virtual machine, and we want to create a custom one. We will make it VMware Workstation. Actually, we'll make it You know, we'll make it 6 compatible. You know, just because I know that's 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Windows 95 CD. I've got a bootable version that we're actually going to boot off of. So if you give me a wee minty. So I've set it up to use 32 megs of RAM. Right. We're going to use bus logic. And we're going to use IDE recommended. Now, here's where things get interesting. When I use an advanced hard disk, it'll just, you know, it'll just kind of say, you know, do you want to do this, that sort of thing. And I'm guessing it will be the last physical drive. This is always a bit of guesswork. So what we're going to call it, hard disk setup. Because I really don't want to use this virtual machine for anything else. Okay, so now we've finished. So hopefully if this works, as you can see, it's booting my Packard Bell image. That is fantastic. Now, it's not actually booted from the CD, so what I'm going to have to do is add a virtual floppy disk drive. That's what I will do right now. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to F-disk this drive. You know, we don't really need anything like on-track disk overlay, which was installed on here before. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a floppy disk image, and then I'm just going to select my Windows 95 boot disk. Be right back. I have an image of the ultimate yellow boot disk we're going to use. Yeah, please forgive me, it's really, really dark today. So what we're going to do now is yeah, it's saying that there's a compression driver on here. What we're going to do, we'll just oh no, we don't. No, wrong one. I've just told it to boot with Arcos CD-ROM driver support. That's not what we want. I just want to boot without CD. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type F-disk. We're going to delete the partition table. So I should probably do this slowly. Your computer has a hard disk larger than 512 megabyte. This version of Windows includes improved support for large hard disks, resulting in more efficient use of disk space on larger drives and allowing disks of over 2 gigabyte to be formatted as a single drive. So basically, this is asking if I wish to format it as FAT32, although it doesn't. Although you think one would just say that. Important: if you enable large hard disk support and create any new drives on this disk, you'll not be able to access the new drives using other operating systems, including some versions of Windows 95 and Windows NT, as well as certain versions of Windows and MS-DOS. In addition, disk utilities that were not designed explicitly for the FAT32 file system will not be able to work with this disk. If you need to access this disk with other operating systems or other disk utilities, do not enable large drive support. Well, I do wish to enable large drive support. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete the partition that's on here. It's called Packard Bell. Good. Yes, I wish to delete it. Primary DOS partition deleted. Now I'm going to create a new DOS partition or logical DOS drive. I'm going to create a new primary DOS partition. And I'm going to allow it to use all the available space. Excellent. I forget I forget what key combo it is on here. It is Control R. Okay, so now we're actually going to restart and enable CD-ROM drive support, because we're going to actually copy the files over. And as you can see, there was no warning about use of a compression system or what have you, or a compressed volume. So, the idea now is to format. See, we've got to do a full format. Now, here's the important thing. We're going to type /s. This will make the volume bootable, and that is extremely important on the Toshiba Libretto 50CT, because like I said, it has no removable storage in it. So that hard disk has got to be bootable, otherwise I'll not be able to do anything on it. Right. What we're going to do, we're going to proceed with format. So it formatted really quickly because it is actually solid state at the end of the day. Now, create a volume label. I'm going to call it Toshiba. Good. That's that sorted. Right. Excellent. Now, we're going to copy the Windows 95 files over. You know how we do this? We navigate to the C drive, MD Windows, CD Windows, MD Options, CD Options, MD Cabs, CD Cabs, and now what we do, we copy d:\win95 /**. So that means basically copy everything that's in d:\win95. So away it goes. As you can see, there's a red hard disk light blinking away on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let that copy. Now, that's everything sorted. So, I can close out this virtual machine. Before I do though, I want to check that it is bootable on here. So I'm going to tell the floppy drive not to be connected at power on. I'm going to restart the machine. And what should happen is I should be ejected to a Windows 95 command prompt, which I am. And let's see if anything is on here. And yes, there is. There's a Windows directory. So, what I can do now is close out of this virtual machine. And I can actually open the hard disk. Look, it's changed its name to Toshiba. If I go into Windows, Options, Cabs, and everything is there. Now, what I want to do is I want to copy the drivers across. Because, why not? You know, they're on the hard disk, I don't have to do anything, they're there. So, that's what I will do. So, just open a new window. First thing I'm going to do is go to my downloads folder. Again, I just want to kind of keep that out the road. But there we are, Toshiba Libretto CT, and some other laptops from the past that you might remember, 2140CS, A300. See, I could delete all these drivers. I could do that. But you never know when I might actually end up with another one. I certainly, for example, want another Toshiba Libretto, a Toshiba Satellite Pro 430 CDT. Don't you just love the Windows 8 copy dialog? Who's looking forward to Windows 10? I am, right enough. Hey. Now, what I also plan to do is get some OEM info copied here. So I'm going to create a system folder. Don't know why. There we go. It doesn't always load the menus. Like, look, you can create all these things. Folder. System. And I already know Windows 95 is going to try and tell me not to install Windows to C:\Windows because there's stuff in the directory. It's not going to be overwritten. Right, and I have some OEM info, which again, I'm just going to casually browse to. Oh yeah, that rapid key pressing sounded so casual. OEM logos. I've got to thank my French friend for finding all these, like OEM information. This is the stuff that you see when you right click on my computer and select properties, and you've got a computer. You've got the logo of whoever made the computer. I've got all the OEM information for quite a lot of machines. Right, we're going to use the old. Right, we're going to copy, and what we're going to do is we're going to rename that. So that's just OEM logo, and then we also need the OEM info file. Going to copy that, and we're actually going to edit that on here. So we're going to say Libretto 50. Hang on. No, we're just going to call it Libretto. Yeah, I'll just call it Libretto. And I'm gonna trim some of the fat here because I don't need the version stuff. That's for Windows XP. So that's that sorted, and I even have a desktop background for it, which again I'm going to casually browse to. If y'all don't mind, thank you very much. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that as a JPEG file and then use PaintShop Pro in Windows or Internet Explorer to convert it to a bitmap, because modern programs don't seem to be good at converting to bitmaps. I'm looking in your direction, Photoshop. I mean, it'll convert fine, and I can read it on this system, but trying to read it back in a Windows 95 system, not a chance. Not a flaming chance, right enough. So it's gonna, oh, no, I think I found it. Well, isn't that nice? So I found a lovely image that I'm going to use as a desktop. It's the size of a postage stamp on this monitor, but what you've got to remember is, so is the Toshiba Libretto screen. In fact, it's probably bigger on this system than the actual screen of the Libretto, but that only has a resolution of 640 by 480 pixels. So there we go. That is everything set up on that CF card. So what we're going to do now is we're going to eject said CF card, eject USB to a tappy bridge. If you'll focus. There we go. And now that's ejected. What I can do now is remove the USB to ID converter off of this, and then we're going to try and slam it in the Toshiba. So now I've got you all sat on a tripod, which is probably a good thing. What we're going to do, got my screwdriver kit here. So I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is just kind of take that out, and we're going to, what I need here is a Phillips head screw. Of course, yesterday when I was working with it, I put this in upside down, which has been absolutely no help to anyone. First things first, remove the battery, no matter how tiny it is. No electricity going to this machine. I seem to have misplaced the secondary screw on this, so please forgive me, but we only have the one screw to remove. And I will tell you now that this is, hopefully this should be an easier job than what I was doing yesterday. I had to rebuild a 2011 Acer Aspire so I could actually use it, so I could actually repaste the CPU. Nice. So what we're going to do now is, this is definitely keyed. I don't think this is actually going to work. Whoa! What I really could do on here is a flashlight. Seriously, I could actually use it. Right. I suppose we can only try it. That's all we can really do. Right. Sorry, that bit was a wee bit dark. I couldn't really do that. So what I need now is to, I've got my universal powered adapter. So what I need to do now is, Acer, IBM, Toshiba. That's good. I was using an IBM. Nope, this is a different type of Toshiba. I was using this with an IBM ThinkPad last time. I believe I was using it with a 390X, which hasn't enjoyed the best of lives. I'm going to be completely honest about this. Right, so I've plugged this end in. Hopefully it will work. Yep, it appears to do. But before I can plug this in, this is a universal power adapter where you can manually change the voltage. Quite useful if you have a plug that is similar to another plug but has a completely different voltage. And there's quite a range to choose from, so you can actually choose from some non-standard voltages. Right, so at the moment it's on 16, but the magical number we want is 15. We don't want to overvolt or undervolt it. So there we've got it set to 15. So I can plug it in. I don't really want to be overvolting my equipment now. Now, hopefully this should work. So it's the way I'm initializing the memory. I'm just gonna drop my screwdriver on the floor because I can. No other reason really, just because, you know. Now this is not a good sign. I would say that isn't going to work. Oh shit it. Right. Let's pull this out and yell at it, shall we? This is a problem. This is the problem with these, is that you know, if they're not keyed, it can be difficult. I'll tell you what else can be difficult. pulling the buggers out. What I can do though is I've got a wee pair of tweezers here. I can just use. Hopefully it'll work on this one. And just doesn't have any grip on it at all. And what I seem to have done is I've actually dekeyed it myself. What I've done here is I've actually pushed this pin out. It's probably not good for it. I probably should have not forced it in there. However, now that that pin is out, it should actually work. So I am going to give it another go, because the damage has been done, if you will. You want to be quite careful, actually, that it doesn't actually get in the wrong set of holes. And again, this is extremely difficult, actually. I see a red light actually on here this time. Having said that, I had the cover on. So it's like that red light is on. Whether it's actually a way to do anything remains to be seen. I would probably say no, otherwise it would have done it by now. So let me just go off camera to yell at this. Well, I've tested the machine back in the main machine. I've tested the CF card reader hard drive setup-y thing back in my main computer, and it's still working fine, even though I've literally voided one of the pins. However, it's still not working in here. So I'm wondering if I actually do need a donor machine or something. I just wonder if I'm not even getting it properly stuck in there, you know? It's really, really difficult. Oh. You got the dogs, you got them. I mean, it may be a case that I actually do have to pull out a so-called donor machine. So you think you've got hard disk activity now. And what I appear to have done as well is, when trying to pull it out using the tweezers, I flicked the red LED off. So, I think I'm going to have to get the donor machine out. This keeps focusing, or non-focusing. So, I'll be right back once I have it. Okay, we have a donor machine, a Dell Latitude CPX. And the reason I've gone for one of these is it's very easy to get the hard disks in and out of Dell Latitudes. Oops, won't see that again. Well done. I did feel something. tell you, computer work when you've got limited vision, yeah, it's fun. Nope, got it. I did that entirely by feel. I have the screw back. Entirely by feel. Right, so the plan is I'm going to try and jimmy this off. So this is really difficult, this. Nope, done it. Now, what we're left with is a hard disk caddy. Luckily, I was out of screws this day, so it's literally only held in with the screws that secure the bracket, the actual adapter to the caddy that lets it plug in to the Dell Latitude CPX's motherboard. So, that's what we do here. Just can now pull this hard disk out. And we have the caddy, we have the adapter. That's what we're after. And the idea is we're going to try and plug the controller in. There we go. And then we do need to actually screw this back in. Otherwise the adapter would never plug back into the motherboard. So, I mean, it's imperative that this does get screwed back in. And the other one, I'm not going to screw in the screw that holds the caddy in place though, because you know we'll literally just be taking this right out again. But I mean, even if I do have to reformat it on the laptop, at least I've shown how VMware can be used. There we go. So, now we play a game of does this machine have any battery? I lose, it doesn't. Never mind. This is why we plug in our laptops from time to time. And now we play the game of entanglement. If you win, your wires aren't entangled and you can easily find the end of it. If you lose, you'll still be here next week. Right. I'm just gonna tilt this up a wee bit to accommodate the much larger Dell Latitude. Now, first things first, see if this is even detected in the system's BIOS. Primary hard disk drive 0 not found. That is odd. So, I would say that this caddy may have become a wee bit voided. Literally though, I can just kind of pull it out like this. Just kind of see, plug it back in again as well. Okay. Ooh. Okay, let's make sure the card's plugged in. See, I don't know what's going on because this does still work on my desktop. So let's just check that that's properly plugged in. Primary hard drive none. Well, I would say that, oops. I would say then that that probably answers our question. It does not look like I am going to be able to set the Toshiba up as a solid state machine. You know, no matter how hard I try, it's just not going to happen. Just you know, if I just kind of try and bang it in there, just yeah. So. No bootable drive selected. Nothing. So, what we'll do is we'll put the Libretto back to how it was. And I have the 2 gig card, and I think I might have a handful of laptops that could make use of it. Probably with one of the smaller adapters. Right. Don't want to damage this any further. Just try and be careful. I don't want any bent pins. Just to make sure that the hard disk controller hasn't bought the farm. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reinstall this machine in the bracket. This hard disk belongs to the Dell Latitude CPX. Well, I would anyway, otherwise there'd be like bits needlessly out of place, you know, when it really should be installed. Oh, not again. I'll just use this screw for the time being. There we go. Now the idea is, I'm just gonna, there we go. And as you can see, the hard disk that was in here registers absolutely fine. And as you can see, we can boot from it. When in its own time, obviously. I'm just going to try and feel around for this other screw. Nope, hopeless, I can't find it. So, that has been my failed attempt at upgrading the Libretto to solid state storage. And while we're still on camera, let's now test this to make sure I've not completely mullered it. Enjoy another game of entanglement. I'm going to have to try and keep at least some battery life left because I've got another video to do and it's rather special. We can just kind of see how small the Libretto is in comparison with the Latitude CPX. And as you can see, this is booting up absolutely fine as well. But as you can hear, the hard disk is dying. It's just going click, click, click. So anyway, this has been a Video Sans Frontières video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now I'm wondering if it's decided the clocks have went back in 2014 or whether they went back in 1979. It's funny how alike 1979 and 2014 have become, and not in a good way. Oh no, it's decided they went back in 2014. Okay, it's still October the... You know what, I'm just going to have to hit this up and do this because OCD. It's the 30th of October today. It's that time for Halloween where I phone it in with the Halloween special and it's fail. It's, yeah, I want to 12:41. And there we go. There's a more correct time on it. Obviously this will be once forgotten again, but there you have it. Toshiba Libretto. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to subscribe. And also please feel free to like us on Facebook. The URLs for both will follow. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you'll all join me for my next one. Judy, bye.